Seb Dance MEP, spokesperson for the S&D group on the EMIS committee. Why did you invite former Commissioner Gunter Verheugen to speak to your committee yesterday?
Following the revelation of the defeat device scandal in Volkswagen, we want to make sure that we get to the bottom of firstly why it happened, but also the regulatory environment that allowed it to happen. And that means we have to speak to as many of the actors as we possibly can, not just those who are making the decisions now in the Commission and elsewhere, but also those who were making the decisions when current legislation was being drawn up. So Mr. Verheugen was obviously a key commissioner at a key time. He was instrumental in the Euro 5 and Euro 6 legislation, and for that reason we felt it to be incredibly important that he appear before the committee.
Do you feel enlightened by his testimony?
I feel enlightened in the fact that it's worrying that the Commission seemed to be so ignorant at the time of what was going on. For instance, we knew in 1998, as long ago as that there was a problem with commercial trucks. That came from the US, where defeat devices were discovered at the time. And yet there was no kind of read across from the legislation that was applied to heavy-duty vehicles to light-duty vehicles. In fact, there were some key bits in the legislation specifically for heavy-duty vehicles that's not there when it comes to light-duty vehicles. So we heard, for instance, from the commissioner, former commissioner yesterday, that defeat devices were absolutely fundamentally illegal, and that was crystal clear in the regulation. The trouble, of course, is what is a cheat device, and that is the key hole that we have discovered in the legislation.
What is the next step for your committee on this matter? Will you be calling Verheugen to testify before your committee again, or will you be moving on to other individuals, maybe functionaries themselves, civil servants who were involved in the decisions?
Sure. Well, we've already heard from a number of key Commission officials, and we will be hearing from other commissioners as well. What we try to do is group the commissioners according to the term of office. So it's not always possible owing to logistics and so on, but what we want to have before the committee is a record of what was happening at the time, but also the current Commission and what their process is for taking legislation forward. So, for example, next week I think we've got Tajani, Commissioner Tajani, who is another key component in the jigsaw, and we'll be effectively putting similar questions to him about what was known, when it was known, and what was done about it. I can't rule out recalling Commissioner Verheugen on the basis of the testimony yesterday. Who knows? we obviously don't draw anyone in or rule anyone out in terms of where we go from here, but that would be a decision that the coordinators would make. But I suspect on the strength of what we heard yesterday, we're not going to get very much more out of him.